Hey everyone, welcome back to Rake Take Stacking. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about Canada and why Canada chose to sell off all of its gold reserves. Now, it was something that I came across because I was doing I was doing a video a couple of months ago talking about the top gold producing countries in the world. And I believe Canada was right around, it was in the top 10, but I think they were actually in the top 5, if memory serves. And yeah, doing that a little bit of research with the producing, I also did a video where it showed the top 10 countries with the gold reserves, with the biggest reserves. And, there was a fair bit of overlapping, obviously, with the top producing. A lot of them were on the same list for the biggest gold reserves. But Canada, like I said, they were 5th in producing, so I thought, they might be in the top 10 for reserves. But, they weren't in the top 10, so I just wanted to do a little search just to see where they were. And, we were tied for last with a bunch of other countries that had 0 reserves. And I did find that quite surprising. And I really couldn't find too many reasons as to why it happened, why they were doing that, especially with the way the world is now, where it seems like any country that is making any moves with gold, it is to try and get as much as they can get their hands on, as much as possible. So I did feel that it was kind of weird that Canada was selling it off. But I did come across this article. It was from the former head, I believe, of the Bank of Canada. His name is David Dodge, and in this article here, he has some pretty strong views on gold. You can see why. And the article goes over why they decided to sell off the gold up here in Canada. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go onto the computer and quickly go over this article. Okay, so this is the article here. It's on kitco.com. And it says, gold is an antique instrument. This is why Canada sold all its gold reserves. Former Bank of Canada head Dave Dodge. And there is a video here if you would like to watch it. I'll leave a link in the description to this article if you would like to go through the video here. But I'm just going to go down into the article. Where is it? It says, gold is an outdated commodity and the Bank of Canada was right to get rid of its gold reserves. That's according to Dave Dodge, former governor of the Bank of Canada and senior advisor at Bennett Jones LLC. It says, starting in the early 2000s, the Bank of Canada sold its gold reserves. Canada is currently the only G7 nation without any official gold holdings. It says the issue is quite clear that it costs to hold gold, whereas holding US or Chinese or Euro bonds yields you a return, said Dodge. That was a strong view, and a view that our international monetary system was in a place that was sufficiently robust that holding this antique instrument of stability called gold really didn't make any sense. Now, I see what he's saying here, that obviously, it does cost money to store gold, especially when you're talking about the amount that a country would have in reserve. Then yes, it would cost quite a bit to store it and, make sure that it's secure. And there are other ways to put your money to work and, get more in returns in a shorter amount of time than gold would, when you factor in, the return you would get from gold against the cost of, storing and all that stuff. So sure, I get what he's saying, but it just doesn't, it seems very, very extreme and very drastic to sell off the entire reserve, especially when they're talking about we're the only G7 nation. I say we, I live in Canada. Canada is the only current G7 nation that doesn't have any gold holdings. So when you're seeing what's going on around the world and you're seeing other countries doing the exact opposite of what Canada did, trying to get as much gold in reserve as possible. When you look at countries like China and Russia and India, they're trying to load up with as much gold as possible. So Canada seems to, went a little contrary to what the popular opinion is, or the popular position on having gold reserves, because it does seem like the majority of countries are looking to strengthen their gold reserves. I don't think it says it in the article here, but I believe the last of it was sold off, I believe, back in like 2016, maybe 2017, I can't remember, despite being a country that is in the top 10 for producing gold. But obviously, we're not putting any of that into reserve. The Royal Canadian Mint will have some of the stuff for bullion products, and then, we sell the rest off, or the rest is already spoken for, allocated to somewhere else. None of it is going to the reserves. It says Dodge also said that the Bitcoin has no place in the Bank of Canada's balance sheet. However, he did not reject cryptocurrencies completely. Of course, he didn't reject it completely. If the Bank of Canada had a central bank digital currency, then I'm sure he wouldn't reject that cryptocurrency, but any other one where he doesn't have complete control or the government wouldn't have control over it, I'm sure he looks down upon and thinks it has no business being there. And just being said right down here, says the Bank of Canada and MIT Digital Currency Initiative Lab is currently collaborating on a 12-month research project into CBDCs. Well, that's convenient. And no surprise there. The one that the government will have control of is the only digital currency that, will make sense to them. That's no shock. Dodge added that while some may fear that CBDCs would infringe on privacy and increase government tyranny, digitalization means more efficiency. Well, we already have digitalization and more efficiency with stuff like Bitcoin and online banking. They don't need to have these CBDCs. The only reason to have these CBDs is for more infringement on privacy. So yeah, I think he's wrong about the cryptocurrencies. If he thinks Bitcoin is a bad thing, then he should think that the CBDCs would be a bad thing. The only difference between the two really is that government will have control over it. So that's it. Like I said, this is from Kitco. I will leave a link in the description if you want to reread this article, and also there is a link down below, and also there is a little embedded video in the article if you would like to see the interview that David Dodge did on Kitco's YouTube channel. So there you go, that was the article. And yes, I think it would be safe to say that David Dodge is the furthest thing away from a gold bug that you can have. He does have some pretty strong opinions on gold and does not believe that Canada should own any in any of its holdings or portfolio. And I do understand what he's saying, that it does cost money and it doesn't really bring in too much as compared to some other investments or other avenues they could put their money in to see some more returns. But to not have any, to completely give everything away, and especially with seeing the trend with a lot of other countries trying to pick up as much gold as possible, they're licking their chops, seeing that, Canada is a big gold producing country, but has no interest in holding on to any of that gold that they produce, and, no interest in having that in any reserves. So, it does seem kind of going against the grain of popular opinion with countries and picking up gold. So yeah, there's not really much anyone can do about it. I live up in Canada, but I don't have any say in what they do or what the Bank of Canada wants to do with their gold. All I can do is pick up the little gold that I have so far. Here's my little stack of Canadian gold. In total, I have about 5 ounces, a little over 5 ounces in my gold stack. And on the table here, there's just under 2.5 ounces of the Canadian gold. So I'm still going to be picking up gold. I'm putting away some gold into my stack. And that's all I can do. And as far as the Bank of Canada, they're pretty much going to do whatever they want. And for right now, they are thinking that it makes sense to not have any gold. But I would like to hear from you guys, especially if you live in a country that has a fair bit of gold reserves. If you live in a country that is in that top 10 list, I would like to hear what you think about Canada's strategy here of getting rid of all of its gold reserves and thinking that it's an old, outdated commodity. So yeah, in Canada, it doesn't seem like there's too many other countries that are with Canada with thinking that it's not a smart move to have at least some gold reserves. But I'd also like to hear from you if you think it was really smart of Canada to sell off all of its gold, because I haven't really heard that opinion outside of David Dodge. I have not heard that opinion expressed very often. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thank you.